I think I fixed it. We're live, I think. All right. I think we're good. Double check. Said we've been live now for a couple seconds. I think this was the issue that I had the first time. I'm going to check the stream on Alexis's phone, but I think it might be working now. Mr. Marceau is checking out the stream, see if it's going to work. So 3:45. What do we got? Does it still say waiting?
Yeah.
Can anyone hear me on the stream right now? We got a couple concurrent viewers.
Yeah, it's working.
It says it's working?
Yeah.
Can we put up the volume just to double check? All right, cool. I don't want to hear me through your phone, but got audio. All right, we'll see if we got it on your phone.
I don't have it on my phone. I don't know why, but I can't.
Well, Mr. Marceau, Brian Pearson says yes, and Ray Marceau, Mr. Marceau says he's got audio.
Oh, geez, never mind.
Okay, we got it. All right,
now.
We're good.
Yeah.
Figured it out. I'm a fucking moron.
What happened?
Because the issue with why I couldn't go live now, the issue with why I couldn't go live when I did the watch along with Mr. Marceau about a month and a half ago for Double or Nothing, I didn't press go live on YouTube. That was the problem.
Are you serious?
That's why it didn't work. So now I'm a genius. I can hear you and the girl. That girl is Alexis, by the way. She's Brian Pearson.
Brian, what the hell?
Brian, what the hell, dude? Welcome everyone to the show. I'm going to just tweet out the link real quick, if I can find the link. I'm not sure what the link is.
What is this person?
No, this is #AskGSM. Episode 345, babe.
But this is under Wrestle Rant brand.
Okay, everything is under the Wrestle Rant brand, but what I'm saying, 7 years ago today, I created the show. 345 episodes later, here you are answering questions with me. And this episode is very special. I'm glad that you could be a part of it. 7-year anniversary of the show. 2-year anniversary for us. 2 years today, actually, and yesterday. We celebrate both yesterday and today, July 7th and July 8th. It's a whole convoluted story, but we technically have 2 anniversaries. It was the night of July 7th at like midnight.
No, it was at 1 a.m. technically on the 8th, but like the whole day we saw each other on the 7th, and then we worked together, and then 1 a.m. technically on the 8th. If we want to be
if it's like 2 a.m., officially it's the next day, but like I consider that to be a part of the day previous.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was Friday night, not Saturday morning.
Exactly. It was a part of that day.
Exactly. So, very special that you could be part of the show here today. There's a lot to get to, a lot to talk about. Is she a wrestler? I don't know much about them on the Asking. Brian, my man, it's my girlfriend. She is no wrestler. We're not having a wrestler here on the show. Excuse me. You should hear the first episode. To a wrestler?
Yeah, that'd be funny.
That'd be weird. I mean, I guess now, but I feel like I've never heard of a podcaster or a wrestling creator dating one of the wrestlers.
What would my wrestling name be?
That's a good question. Mr. Marceau could probably come up with a better answer than I could.
I had this idea.
Is that the first question for hashtag today?
Yeah, it's my own question for myself.
Yeah.
I had this idea that there would be a wrestler. I forget what her name would be, but she kind of has a theme similar to like Aleister Black, and she's good with like ballet, and she's a former dancer, and she's very like quick on her feet. Not really like a high flyer, but she's really good with like being sneaky and really smart in the ring.
Okay.
I forget what her name was though. It like starts with A. Something along the lines of
not Alexis.
No, obviously not Alexis. Something along the lines of like oh no, it's a Vengeance. That's her name.
A Vengeance?
No, it's Vengeance. Not the A.
So not an A.
There's no A.
Okay, well there's an A in the word, but it doesn't begin with an A.
Yeah.
My wrestler name, not for me, but I created this character. 2 characters, actually. One I told you about that I wrote into WWE Magazine about, and I wrote this whole paragraph about what the finisher would be and what his name would be and, you know, the whole character, and they only used a couple of sentences, and I have the picture on my phone. It's from a September 2009 edition of WWE Magazine. This is Graham from Connecticut, and it's Jack Frost, and his finisher would be the Frostbite. I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, it's way too gimmicky, and that would probably end up on like Raw or SmackDown. It would end up on Raw, but that was my big idea. And then my other idea that I didn't write into the magazine about, I had an idea. Wrestler name Ricky Status. That was his name, like, you know, more modern. This was about 10 years ago before Twitter really took off. But I was going to call him Ricky Status, and the finisher, the Trending Topic. 1, 2, 3, trending worldwide. Ricky Status.
That's so cute.
What's your status? I'm Ricky Status. So now some company's going to steal that, and Ricky Starks is going to steal my idea.
Wait,
but
that's a good idea. I like
Ricky
it.
the Status Starks. I think it's better than Absolute Ricky Starks, but that's just.
I like Absolute.
No, I like Absolute, but Ricky Status is better. Anyway, this is
Anyways,
episode
welcome.
345. Hashtag welcome. Hashtag AskGSM for Wednesday, July 8th, 2020. I am Graham GSM Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well. Joined by the one, the only, the illustrious, for what feels like the upteenth time. You've been on the show a bunch of times before. Not in recent memory, though. I think you were actually on the episode before WrestleMania. I had you on the phone then. You're here live and in living color. Cult of Personality. Here as we record at this moment. Welcome back, Alexis, to the show. How you doing?
I'm good.
So here are the circumstances that we discussed before we went live here. Because it took me so long to... Well, we got no Laura in the chat as well. Brian Pearson asked about... Let's see. He asked about Sasha Banks and Bailey, although we spelled both their names wrong. That's all right. You're looking at the chat right now, too.
Yeah.
So here are the circumstances with today's show. Hello to everyone watching, listening, whatever. I do got to get going in about an hour. I got to record an interview at 6 p.m. Eastern time. It's currently 4:38, and I'm not even doing the interview here. I'm doing it at Alexis's house, who is 10 minutes down the road. So I got to get going within the next hour. We got to keep this unfortunately short. My other live streams have been like fucking 3 hours, 4 hours. Usually I interact with the chat. We answer questions through the chat too. We can't do that here today. I'm just going to answer the questions primarily, unless I go quickly through the chat. And if I see anything like, oh, well, otherwise, though, we are answering the questions that were sent in via Twitter and Facebook and YouTube over the last week for us. I use the hashtag AskAlexis, so there are questions. When are you not? Questions that are specifically tailored to you. So if you want to get your question on the show, you can do so now in the chat, but it's a lot easier if you send them in advance on Twitter at WrestleRant.
They could put their questions in for next week, right? On the chat.
Yeah, you can do it. Well, not in the chat. I don't know if the chat would pop up in the video, but if you want to send in a question for next week, and honestly, I like this setup. I like this idea. I thought I could only do video because I couldn't figure out how to do the audio. Now that I know how to go live with just the audio, which is what I like better than doing the whole video thing, I may make it a regular thing to do a live thing every week. We'll see. Maybe not next week or whatever. We'll figure it out. But at some point down the road, I would love to do that. Like a live review of like a pay-per-view right after the show. Go live and review SummerSlam or something, you know?
That's a great idea. We should do that.
I know we can do watch-alongs, and I've entertained that idea, and I think at some point we will do that. We didn't watch Backlash live. We're not watching Extreme Rules live. Maybe SummerSlam, I think, would be cool, so we'll see.
Yeah, that would be
like
cool.
A watch-along and then maybe a live review. Sunday, I think August 23rd. It's the exact 5-year anniversary of when I went to SummerSlam 5 years ago, and this year it's not in Boston, which sucks. But
I could always request to work in the ring.
Yeah, we'll figure it out as it gets closer. Should be a fun weekend. But anyway.
Anyways, questions.
If you want to send in a question to the show for next week, you can tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. Find me on the Facebook machine as well, facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. You can leave a comment on the post that I usually put up on Tuesday nights, if not on the wall itself. I forgot to put it up last night. We went out, so I completely forgot about it. But it did go up this morning, though. And then finally, right here on YouTube, not in the live chat, because I'll probably answer those questions at the end of this video. But for next week, if you want to answer or rather ask a question for next week's video, drop it in the comment section of the video, especially if you're listening like after the fact. I'll start with No Laura from YouTube from last week. I know she was in the chat, but we'll throw in their question for here for right now. Do you see Tegan Nox either winning the NXT Women's Championship or going to Raw or SmackDown? We'll start with you, Alexis. Either one of those things?
I think she could go... I keep forgetting who's on what show because, like, I don't really watch SmackDown. I don't think she would win the Women's Championship. I really don't. I don't think she's, like, a main character on there. She was months ago, I feel like, when she first came back. But I feel like now she's just kind of, like, a supporting character. So she'll end up going, like, Raw or SmackDown. Whether or not that's... Which one? I don't really know. Because I don't really know who's on what show. So first,
I think SmackDown.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like first thought. Is
she
SmackDown.
Shouldn't be called up anytime soon anyway.
Yeah.
But just because they've called up this year alone, Shayna and Bianca, and neither of them are even on the show to Raw.
Okay. Every time you mention Bianca, I forget that she exists.
How does Raw have Bianca and Shayna, and neither of them are on the show? Yet they just lost Charlotte and Becky.
And they're not doing anything. But the funny part is, they're choosing... Where's Ruby Riott? Is she on...
She's on Raw.
Okay. That's what I thought. They're prioritizing Ruby Riott, who is not nearly as good as Shayna or Bianca, and the other two are just sitting at home doing what?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, Shayna's actually being brought in. I heard that she worked, that hasn't aired yet, a main event taping. She was on main event.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I think this week. I don't know who she faced. I'm not sure, but
that's oh my god,
that's pretty bad.
She needs to go.
Yeah.
She's got to leave. I'm sorry. So. I mean, I don't know if she minds.
It's only been a couple months. I don't want to say she's ruined, but
she's not ruined yet, but she's getting there.
She's quickly approaching that territory. Considering the fact that she's only been around this year, I'm willing to give it more time, but it's just, she lost the Rumble, lost the Mania, lost Money in the Bank. She's a fucking loser.
She's a loser.
She's a loser.
She's a great character. She's fantastic at everything that she does. She's really talented. Like, she made me hate her guts when she was in NXT. I fucking hated her. So did you. But that's, like, she did her job. She did a really good job at everything. And just because Vince doesn't like the fact that she's probably an A or B cup and has dark brown hair and doesn't look like Charlotte, he's going to not give her, good booking decisions. It's terrible.
I agree.
It's really immature for a 7-year-old man.
Back to Tegan Nox, though. I think of the two, she'd probably go to the main roster. I think she's going to be like a Bianca, where it's just not her time. I think it'd be cool to see her hold the gold, but considering she just won that 4-way last week, it feels like she's merely a filler opponent for Io Shirai before Io goes on to face Rhea, or maybe Dakota feels like a filler opponent too. Mercedes, potentially, who's on NXT tonight, by the way. Very much looking forward to that. She's coming back tonight.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. I love her.
Robert Stone getting a new client. Could be one and the same. It could very well be the same person. And I think it's a female, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mercedes, so we'll soon say.
No.
Anyway, No's second question. Will we ever see a Queen of the Ring with the winner earning a future women's championship match for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, whatever? Yeah, I do. I think that's only inevitable. I saw a report about a month ago that said they were actually planning a Queen of the Ring tournament before the pandemic happened. And they had to cancel it. I mean, Shayna is already the Queen of Spades. Come on.
Charlotte was winning that.
Reality, no, fantasy is Shayna Baszler. Reality, Charlotte Flair.
Yeah,
She's
Charlotte
the Queen
Flair.
anyway. They're both the Queen. But I don't think they've called her actually the Queen of Spades since she got called up to the main roster. Probably to coincide with the Charlotte thing, so they don't steal from her, because God forbid we steal Charlotte's nickname.
Yeah, even though Shayna could wrestle circles around Charlotte.
Anyway, I think we'll probably get that at some point. If you had to pick a Queen of the Ring, would it be Shayna or someone else?
If I had to pick someone that I personally really wanted to win, I would say
Natalya, Queen of Hearts. Like Owen Hart was the King of Hearts.
I hate her. He's so annoying. If I had to pick someone like out of the two shows, I would probably pick either Bianca or Shayna. But like the people I think would end up winning would absolutely be Charlotte. Absolutely.
Easily. She's already won the Rumble.
Yeah.
She's already main evented WrestleMania. She hasn't won the briefcase yet, but I feel like that's inevitable.
She hasn't won Money in the Bank.
She's never won. The only 3 people or 4 people that have won the Money in the Bank contract were Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, technically twice, and who won it last year? Who won the briefcase last year? Bayley, yeah. So, yeah, she has yet to win the briefcase, but she did win the Rumble.
It's so funny to me that she,
it's a matter of time.
She does everything.
She'll get it in. Alexa's burying Ruby is unreal, Mr. Marceau says. Come on. We're not burying Ruby. You just said the other day that you like her now. More than you did before.
I do. I saw her on the show, and I think it's because she's a little bit more natural on camera. Like, the way she sounds when she's talking to the Iconic, she's really funny. But, that being said, she's not nearly the best person they have.
Yeah.
I think it's because of her music and her dumb, knockoff Avril Lavigne song that just pisses me off.
It's not that she's on the show that makes her better than Shayna. She's on the show because she wasn't on the show for a while either.
Yeah.
She's on the show because they're telling a story with her and Liv, presumably, going for the tag team titles. That's fine. And I love Sasha, and I think Sasha and Asuka is going to be a fucking banger of a match at the pay-per-view. But why is a SmackDown superstar, despite the fact she's one half of the tag team champions, going for the Raw Women's Championship when you have this entire division you're doing nothing with? Nia injured Charlotte. We haven't seen her since.
That's what I'm saying. They hone it. It's like a magnifying glass. They hone in on only the same 5 women. You have so much more talent that you've signed, so use it. You're just wasting their time.
I agree. Real quickly, favorite horror movie ending, I don't know, but Halloween Kills, by the way, or Halloween Kills, the sequel to the 2018 movie, got delayed.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, I was fucking pissed I saw that today. I got pushed to next October. And then Halloween Kills, which was supposed to come out next year, the sequel, the third movie, was going to come out next year, 2022. Both October, which is, I mean, yeah, how can you have a Halloween movie? I mean, it is, but it sucks. But,
I totally did not know they were doing another movie. But
we knew that, but we just forgot about it.
Oh my God.
We'll go see it on Halloween again. It was amazing. The movie's great.
So scary. Now, to anyone everyone's going to make fun of me now, but the reason why I'm like terrified to drive at night alone is because of that movie. Because I'm afraid Michael Myers is going to like murder me in the car.
Anyway, Emmanuel also brought up, and others reports that Vince doesn't seem to like Shayna because he apparently doesn't like her MMA style.
Your face!
That can't be true. That can't be true.
Wait, what? So many of those wrestlers do MMA.
Sonya does MMA, which it's not her whole gimmick. Ronda fucking Rousey.
Exactly. That's
the whole gimmick is that she's an MMA fighter. Moving on. Do you see WWE bringing back Halloween Havoc? No, I don't. I feel like if they were going to, they would have by now. Then again, Great American Bash, it took them a long time to bring that back. So
NXT could do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Halloween Havoc. Yeah, it's a great. That's what we watched. Remember we watched the Hogan Warrior match, and they had like the big pump. Yeah, it's Halloween Havoc. I'll get to that later because RJ has a question about that. We got to go quickly through the questions, so I'm going to speed through these.
Go ahead.
Let's see. FD from Facebook. Could the eye for an eye match at Extreme Rules 2020 between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio potentially become the most violent and horrifying cinematic match we have seen since the pandemic started? Also, could this match be the starting point for Seth Rollins to turn into somewhat of a pseudo Ministry of Darkness cult leader by getting Rey Mysterio's eye, quote unquote, which he probably will, since he will most likely win, that being Rollins, and utilize it to become a vicious heel? So basically what he's saying is Rollins going to win, yes or no? And is that going to be the starting point for Rollins to become more of a vicious heel than he already is? I think he probably will win. People are saying, oh, maybe Ray will win because Rollins is going to be written off so we can go be with Becky during her pregnancy. She doesn't have the kid for like a long time, I don't think. That's like, what, 6 months? I know. She didn't have the baby. She probably wanted the baby for a while, so I don't see that happening.
Then again, it makes more sense that Ray wouldn't be on TV because of everything that's going on with him.
Yeah, exactly. So, your thoughts on that?
First of all, the stipulation is stupid and totally unrealistic.
Dumb.
I was saying this to Graham earlier, but how can you possibly, as a big company, if we're thinking about this realistically here, which it's obviously not realistic, but this huge company with millions of dollars, like, what's it called? They sanction this match with two people, and at the end, one of them has to pull out the opponent's eyeball. How is that, like, why?
Dumb.
How is that sanctioned?
Stupid.
That's literally illegal. Like,
makes
that's
no
assault.
sense, yeah.
Like, how can we just, that's so stupid, I don't even care. I think Seth Rollins is going to win.
Makes no fucking sense.
I think he really needs that, he needs that win.
He hasn't really picked up a big win in a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He lost the Money in the Bank, WrestleMania, Rumble.
I mean, both of them are one of those people where, like, they could lose and they'd be fine because
he's fine. Yeah, I know he's okay.
That being said, like,
if you want to keep the feud going, because I think the end game is Ray and Dominic teaming up, and they got to win ultimately, I think. So you got to have Rollins win now. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I assume he will. I assume the storyline goes somewhere. Otherwise, why bring Dominic in? I mean, it makes sense. Rollins has a tag team.
That other night on the show, he just like stood in the corner and didn't react to anything.
Yeah, it was a little bizarre. FD's second question: the newly designed WWE United States Championship has had quite a mixed reaction. Personally, I love the belt and would like to give props to WWE for taking the old school route and making the prestige of the U.S. title look a lot more prominent. Now, this is not the question about the thoughts on your thoughts in the belt, since that would be a question someone else asked on the show. But I would like to ask, would you prefer a more classic and old school design to be used on today's championship belt design, or have a modern day design yet maintaining the prestige and the lineage of the title belts, and why? Also, with the ramblings of several WWE title belts getting a redesign not long from now, in both of your opinions, what one title belt from any wrestling promotion right now would you love to have a redesign, and how would you design the belt?
Oh, that's such a good question.
So it's a two-parter. With the U.S. Championship, we'll talk about the U.S. title later. Classic or more modern? I think modern, from what that means, is kind of what the U.S. title was before. Mm-hmm. Like the North American Championship is a throwback title.
Yeah,
that's a classic belt.
Mm-hmm.
Modern, like what the WWE Championship, is in my opinion, or the Intercontinental title. What would you prefer?
I love more classic stuff. You know this.
Yeah, I like the
like the
classic IC
nostalgia.
title. Yeah, I like the
I
classic stuff.
I think, especially like with a more classic thing, it kind of gives like a nod to all the history behind the belts and all the history behind wrestling itself.
Mhm.
So I think it's more respectful to do like a classic thing and kind of keep the look similar.
I agree. So with the belts that you would redesign, what belts in any company right now would you like? Okay, that's shit.
Okay,
Redesign it.
I got a lot. First of all, AEW Women's title
That was
needs
the
to be
first championship that came to
needs
mind.
to be redesigned.
And it's a new title too. It's not like it's been around forever.
No, it's way too tiny.
It looks like an egg.
Tiny.
It looks like a fucking egg.
Why did you say that?
The old Intercontinental Championship belt, not the one that I own, but the one before that looked like an egg. But this one's even worse.
It looks bad. I don't
Just
like
because it's a women's championship, it has to be smaller. Get out of here.
I know. That's what I was thinking about that when our Nyla Rose is still the champion.
No. It's Kuroshita now.
No.
But it looks smaller on her too, and she's not as big as Nyla Rose. So.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know.
Nyla Rose, the title looked awful on her.
It was stupid. That's why
It
she
made
never
her
put it around her waist. I don't think.
Bad.
I don't know.
Riho, it didn't look bad, but I would definitely change that one, make it bigger, and maybe even make it white.
Okay.
And do like kind of like the white and rose gold look or white and gold look. I think that'd look cool.
Mm-hmm.
The TNT Championship is not nice. I don't like it.
But it's not finished yet. Of course.
Yeah, it's not finished. It's been like a month.
But it's not finished. They don't fucking bring out the title. Use something else. I don't know.
I know.
Then don't introduce it if it's not going to be done. Oh, the pandemic. The pandemic's been. The belt's been around now for a month and a half.
Why introduce the belt in the first place? If
Dumb.
That's being
Stupid.
I personally like the white belts a lot better than the black ones. No racial. I
Jesus.
just think they look nicer and cleaner and more classic. And I would definitely change Universal title. I would change the WWE Championship belt.
I like the WWE title belt. The issue is that the Universal Championship belt is the same thing, just with a different color. The Universal title belt looks terrible.
It's ugly.
It's the fucking blueberry title.
It is. Two more. I would change the Raw and SmackDown tag team belts.
They look like pennies.
They're ugly. They're straight up ugly.
I think
and
they
the
are.
24/7 championship.
I heard they were going to get new SmackDown tag titles, and that they're ready to introduce them, but they haven't done it yet. I don't know why.
Raw ones?
I don't know. That's just what I read online earlier. What was the second one you said?
24/7.
Oh, I mean that should just be done away with. I wouldn't redesign the title. I would just throw it away.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but my thing is, if they're not going to get rid of it, they might as well make it look nicer, but not do like this big fancy thing where they like.
I know it's a part of the title for it to be not.
They don't really need to present it.
It's a 24/7 title, so I kind of get that one.
Yeah.
Elena the Y, welcome to the live stream. They finally got on their first live stream. Welcome. Real quickly, Jeremiah said, and I agree with you, all the titles, by the way. Sasha Banks and Bayley are killing it right now. Do you think Sasha should beat Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship to complete the two-woman power trip since they're already holding off on Sasha and Bayley? No.
Absolutely
I would not do that.
No.
I like Sasha and Bayley. I agree they are killing it. But the issue is, and I've said this a million times. I said this on last week's show. I've said it multiple times in multiple places. Bayley has beaten everybody. There's no guarantee they're holding off on Sasha and Bayley. That was a rumor. They can't hold off any longer on this. Mm-hmm. I don't give a fuck if there's no fans. McIntyre had no fans for his big moment. Then I don't give a shit if there's fans for Sasha and Bayley. Would it be nice? Absolutely. But you're sacrificing the entire division in the meantime. Everyone in that SmackDown women's division, aside from maybe Mandy and Sonya, mean absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. Nikki Cross has been beaten multiple times. Loser. Alexa Bliss beaten multiple times. Loser. Mm-hmm. Carmella, beaten multiple times. Loser.
I have not even seen her.
Dana Brooke, don't get me started. Tamina. The whole division is just...
Stop giving me that look. It's so funny.
The division is in shambles. They got to get the belts off of Bayley, even if it means putting it on Sasha and Carmella. I don't think I've ever seen that before. In a major feud, have never seen it. They built up Carmella, maybe. Sasha and Mandy, Sasha and Sonya, matches I've never seen before.
Really good because they have similar characters.
I just think that makes a lot of sense. So, anyway, back to the questions. Or go ahead, sorry.
I also think that Raw Women's Championship, like, Asuka's got to hold it for a long time. They can't just have someone win after like 2 or 3 months.
With Asuka, there's more possibilities there. You could do her and Kairi. Her and Shayna just makes too much sense to not do, which is probably why they won't do it.
Doing it,
yeah, but with Asuka, Sasha's not even on Raw. I can understand her going for the title, kind of, but I don't want to see her hold it.
Mm-mm.
This makes sense. Bayley retains, Sasha loses. Sasha's like, oh, I can't win the big one. And then she beats Bayley to win the big one at SummerSlam. And she's not a loser after all. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Sasha helps Bayley retain, but Bayley doesn't help Sasha win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because she doesn't want to see her hold gold like she already is. She wants to be the only dual champion. Actually, before their question, FD's third question here. There's something about the MCU. Is there anyone from any company right now that you would want to see in a Marvel movie? I guess Becky Lynch is rumored to be in one. I don't know what movie. Yeah, that was confirmed, I think. Which is cool. I think Brock is like Thanos, which is never going to happen, but I think that would be cool. Josh Brolin's got that down pat. But other than that, can't really think of anyone.
I think it'd be actually really cool to see Roman in there. Because he's not a bad actor at all. That's the only one I think of when I see, like...
He was fine in Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, he was pretty good in that one.
The issue with the current roster is that no one stands out as being larger than life. I love Johnny Gargano. He's never going to be in a Marvel movie.
Oh, yeah, no.
Even though he belongs in one because he's a big Marvel fan.
Adam Cole would be cool. I think he definitely would have the acting skills to be in a movie.
Maybe, but he's
like a main character or anything.
Yeah, maybe like a bad... I don't know.
Cameo.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, yeah, that guy pointing at the building for Spider-Man to go save Citizen 3. Like, you know, I mean, something like that. Anyway, at Misdemeanor 6 from Twitter, do you think the ongoing COVID-19 Moxley situation was the reason why AEW never put the tag team title belts on Best Friends? I reckon AEW had to keep the belts on Page and Omega, so there will be big names and a title match for Fyter Fest tonight in Mox's place. I don't think so. So what they're saying is Mox and Cage was supposed to happen tonight. It's not. I got pushed back to next week, of course, as we know, because Mox of the whole COVID thing. So she's saying, Misdemeanor is saying, oh, Moxley won't be there. We need to have Page and Omega on the show. We'll keep the belts on them last week and have them defend it again tonight, which they are. They're facing Private Party. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I feel like that was always the plan. I feel like they've been building the Page and Omega for a while. Mm-hmm. I thought Best Friends would win, but I don't think they lost because Moxley's not on the show.
Well, yeah, that wouldn't make sense because then they would have done like a rematch or something if they really wanted to put it on.
Exactly. If they really wanted to have Page, they could. That's what I was thinking earlier, and I completely forgot about it until you just said that. They could have Page and Omega on the show. Why does it have to be against Private Party? Best Friends could have won the belts. Why not just do a rematch?
If they wanted to put it on Best Friends, why would they give Private Party the win the next week?
They're not going to change their plans just because Moxley's not on one episode of Dynamite. I think FTR is probably going to end up winning him at this point.
It's also kind of cool that we barely see Moxley. I know why, but like we see him not as often, and
they don't have to be on every show.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it more special.
Like Adam Cole's not on every show. Mm-hmm. That's why he feels more special too. At noob_n_co 1991, what are your thoughts on Kairi Sane's return? Do you think WWE spoiled the surprise over the weekend via the graphic they put up on their website or something? And will she have an extended contract? Your thoughts on Sane's return, Alexis?
Like, will she stay?
I guess that's what they're saying, yeah.
She's leaving.
I think she'll stay. My guess is that she stays.
She's going to stay for the time being, but I think she's leaving soon.
We'll see.
Like, why? If I were her, my husband's in another country. He's having fun doing whatever. And I'm all the way in the U.S., the shit show that it completely is right now. I got injured multiple times by the same wrestler that will not get fired for some reason, or, you know, at least sent home or something for not doing her job correctly.
Hey, Jack,
I'd be like, I'm out of here. Like, I'll do whatever you guys need me to do, but I'm out of here after so-and-so months or whatever. I don't think she's staying. I mean, maybe she doesn't really care. Maybe she's really nice about it, but I think she's smart enough to be like, I don't want to take any chances.
I think she's staying. I like the return on Monday. I thought they would just have her get squashed by Sasha. I'm surprised that she won by DQ. I really am. I'm surprised they wanted to protect Kairi, so which is a good sign. I think she will stay. I don't think they spoiled the surprise. I mean, as soon as Asuka said, oh, I got someone to face Sasha, we kind of figured it was Kairi, but it was still cool. She hasn't been on the show in a while. Fuck Nia Jax. That's all I got to say on that. At Noob's second question, with 2 matches that have stipulations, what other matches need stipulations for the horror show at Extreme Rules to make it interesting? Like for the Raw Women's Championship, Asuka and Sasha, in a Tokyo Street Fight match, or Bayley versus Nikki Cross in a Last Woman Standing match. First of all, I have no idea what a Tokyo Street Fight even is. They're going to be at the Performance Center, so I'm not exactly sure how that makes sense. Second of all, the issue with the pay-per-view and with these matches is that Extreme Rules the original gimmick, is that every match had a stipulation.
Mhm.
The issue is that with these two matches, neither match should have a stipulation. This is the first major meeting, aside from one Raw match they had a couple of years ago, between Asuka and Sasha Banks. It doesn't need a stipulation. Bayley and Nikki Cross have technically been feuding for the last 6 to 8 months. Actually, they faced each other on the pay-per-view a year ago, that dumb handicap match they did with Bayley versus Alexa and Nikki. But I don't know, no DQ. Like a last woman standing match sounds way too big. That's like Edge and Orton, this major, massive feud. Plus, we just saw one with Edge and Orton, and it was poopy. So I don't really want to see it. I don't know. I don't really think those matches need stipulations. Apollo Crews and MVP. That doesn't have a stipulation. Should it? What steel cage? Like,
That's their problem, though, is that they don't have these matches that...
they don't have any feuds that feel worthy of a stipulation.
Yeah.
Like Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. They were already feuding. There was interference in the last match. You build to a gimmick match. They already moved away from that. And now they're doing Dolph. Why do I want to fucking see Dolph and Drew again? Well, they already had a steel cage match.
Side note, I love how his dumbass character just walks in when someone's champion and is like, I'm getting a title match. And he just gets it. Like,
he was gone
like twice.
Kofi was gone for 6 months, walked in on Kofi and got a title shot. And lost all 3 times.
Like, Dolph sucks. Why does he get a title match?
He's a loser.
I could win faster than Dolph.
If I show up at a Raw taping and I say I want a title match, I'll get one.
Yeah.
You could be dating the next WWE champion. Yeah, I'm just going to say that. I don't think I would be Drew McIntyre, but still, it's worth a shot.
knocked in like next month.
I would be, but that's the issue. No other matches. Like the eye for an eye thing is just dumb.
I don't understand.
Well, we already talked about that before.
Yeah, last year, the Extreme Rules thing was just as much a joke as this year.
Last year had no Extreme Rules matches. The year before had no Extreme Rules matches. It's been an issue for a while. I like the concept.
There's a lot of pay-per-views they have to go away with. Like I think this
Hell in the Cell is one of them. This is one of them. I mean, it's a good concept that they do it properly. The issue with this and Hell in the Cell is that they do it when the matches don't need that stipulation. Mm-hmm. Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt should not have been a Hell in the Cell match. No. I mean, I could see the Wyatt and Braun thing making sense. Everything else, eye for an eye. As a tagline, it's okay.
Like a Hell in a Cell match is more of a personal thing. Like.
You do it when it's necessary.
Yeah, like Tommaso and Johnny, that makes way more sense as opposed to like Seth and...
But it didn't happen in October, so you can't do it.
Yeah, of course, because you know Hell in a Cell is spooky.
It's October.
Spooky.
Oh, spooky. Next question. What did you think of the redesign of the United States Championship? In my opinion, I think it looks superior to the Intercontinental title. Yeah, I like it a lot. I think if I had to compare the two, first of all, I like the old designs better, personally, but for both belts. I like the IC title. I do. The old one was better. Of the two current new titles, I do like the U.S. Championship one more. Although I really like the IC one. If you bought me a replica without me knowing of either one, I would not complain. Mm-hmm. Though I would say, why didn't you buy me the other one? Because the other one is better. But of the two, what are your thoughts on the U.S. Championship and what's better between the new designs, U.S. or IC?
I really like the new design for the U.S. Championship. I just don't like the fact that it says champion like in the middle of the belt because I think that's too obnoxious. But other than that, I really like it. I like all the gold, and I think it's really pretty and shiny. Out of the old and new designs, out of those two mid-card belts, I would say the old IC belt is really nice, really pretty looking. I have bias because I know you've said that before, and I agree with it. The old U.S. title belt's not bad either, but I like the old IC belt and the new U.S. title belt.
I agree. At Iwagu91, do you know that with the U.S. Championship being redesigned, all the title belts from the Ruthless Aggression era, 02 to 05 in my opinion, have been retired? I did not know that. That's a fun fact. His second question, which did you think is better, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels 1, WrestleMania 25, or Streak versus Career, which was the rematch at WrestleMania 26. We've seen both matches before. It's been a long time. I've always said I like the first one more. I do think the second one is the greatest main event in WrestleMania history. Of the two matches, though, Taker and Shawn one is, in my opinion, superior. But if you said the second one, it's not wrong.
That's not having no one the first one?
Yeah, the second one is the rematch.
Where he was like clawing up to his chest.
And then he slapped him, and then Taker jumped up and tombstoned him, which was cool. From what you remember, do you remember which match was better? I mean, it's been a while. We watched like a year and a half ago.
The first one is like a legendary match.
That's what people regard as the greatest match of all time.
Yeah, that's like a legendary match. That's like something where I There's not many where I genuinely pay attention through the entire thing because I, have issues paying attention.
We know.
Hey, I feel attacked. So the first one, just solely because I remember that one more, and I remember actually watching it and paying attention through the entire thing. I would say that one.
Yeah, that's a good reason to say that one.
And also because the entrances.
Yep.
And the second one was cool too because I remember that shot of like Shawn crawling up to the Undertaker.
Yeah. Fucking slapped him across the chest. He knew he knew he was the dead man, no pun intended, so he was like, fuck it, let's just go all out here. His third question, do you know that AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels versus Samoa Joe at TNA Unbreakable 2005 is the only match in that promotion, TNA, which is of course now Impact Wrestling, to date that has been rated 5 stars by Dave Meltzer? I think I already knew that because I can't think of any other match that is 5 stars. I've never shown that to you. TNA, in their near 20-year existence, has only had, it's one guy's ratings. It doesn't matter. It's not the fucking gospel. It's Dave Meltzer. And I think his ratings are important. They're not anything to live or die by. But that's the only 5-star rated match, in his opinion, in TNA's history for 20 years.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they've had a lot of good matches.
Really like hoity-toity.
He's just not a big TNA guy. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking. I don't know about that side of his life. I'm talking about the company.
Oh my god!
But the match itself was amazing. It is absolutely one of the best match in company's history. I gotta watch that sometime with Alexis at Reborn Again from Twitter. John Ritland, shout out to John.
Hi.
His first question was, "Am I the only one not buying into a heel Candice LeRae? She just seems like she's Gargano's wife, but just a bad girl now."
Yeah, you're the only one.
I love how you're going to agree, and then you're like, yeah, no, I don't agree.
No, you're the only one, because I love heel Candice.
Listen, I like heel Candice. I can see where he's coming from. I'm not going to sit here and go, John, no. Like, you're a fool. First of all, John makes great points. Second of all, John is just the gem. Third of all, go subscribe to his channel. He's awesome. Fourth, I could just praise this guy all day.
Fifth of all. Sixth of all.
Love me some John Ritland. We've never had an actual show with the three of us together, so at some point we got to make that happen. Mm-hmm. Or we just poop on something, because John is great for that stuff. When he sees something he hates, he fucking rips it apart. So one of these days, if we find something we can all hate and rant on, we'll make it happen, and I'm sure he would be definitely down for it. No, I like heel Candice, though. I do. I think it's different than what she was doing before. Could it be a little more aggressive? Yes.
I will tell you, though.
I like the look, though.
Her logo is so ugly. And it makes
Poison Pixie?
The Poison Pixie is stupid. I mean, the nickname's not bad, but, like, the fact that they just keep calling her that is kind of annoying. And the logo is ugly. I don't like the logo. Like, it's just kind of corny. But at the same time, it kind of reminds me of, like, Snow White and like, you eat the rotten apple. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just what I just get that vibe.
She probably does that on purpose, because she's a big Disney girl.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I really love, like, the vignettes they'll do at their house when they're eating dinner. Those are it's really unique. It's stuff I've never personally seen before. So
I agree.
I dig it.
I dig it. I understand why you would say that she just seems like she's just Gargano's wife, but, you know.
You're the only one, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's more, but I've personally been a fan. The eye for an eye match. Why?
What?
That was his question.
For what?
For what?
For what?
We already talked about this, but it's so fucking dumb.
It's like literally assault. Like, it's
stupid.
Illegal. Like, it's like saying, let's have a leg for a leg match. The loser has to cut the other or the winner has to cut the loser's leg off with a freaking chainsaw.
Do you know what? It's the horror show. If they're going to go down this route, and listen, if you want to call it eye for an eye, and like they did this with Moxley and Santana earlier this year on Dynamite when Moxley's eye got clawed out. Not clawed out, but he got like hurt, even though he was faking it. Mm-hmm. He did the same thing to one of the members of Santana and Ortiz. I think it was Santana. And they had a match where it was eye for an eye. Because that's a common expression. They didn't literally go poke each other's eyes out. That's the point of this match, though.
I was thinking it was going to be like Seth Rollins has to wrestle with only one eye visible or something.
No. Or even a blindfold match. That's the thing, too, where you wrestle blindfolded.
That's what I was thinking.
It's dumb, but it's better than this.
It is dumb. Could you imagine them walking around?
Oh, it's happened before. Jake Roberts had one with Rick Martel at WrestleMania one year.
No.
Yeah, it happened. It happened.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Watch it. Yeah, the whole thing is stupid. If you're gonna do this eye for an eye thing, I say it's the horror show. Bring in what's his fucking name? Jacob Goodnight. The main bad guy from See No Evil. He loves me some eyes.
Next question.
Special guest referee. Hashtag book it. Next question.
No one's gonna know about that except for you.
Everyone knows. Shout out in the chat if you know who Jacob Goodnight is from See No Evil. Come on. Actually, Emmanuel agrees with John's take on Candice, so you're not the only one.
You're the only one. one.
Oh, the only two, you mean?
They're the only two.
But anyway.
I love heel candies.
I need some shout-outs for Jacob Goodnight in the chat here, because everyone knows Jacob Goodnight from See No Evil.
You know, him and his...
It's a classic!
8 foot little dude.
Exactly, Kane, See No Evil. Exactly, thank you, No Laura. Anyway.
Is it... Why is it N-O-E? What's that? No.
I'm not sure. I assume
like,
that's just their first
Laura.
name. Well, it's N-O-E, it's not N-O, but yeah.
No way, Laura.
Well, and it's a unique name, so I'm sure they might be... I don't know if they're here from the U.S. or a different country.
Like, fuck yeah, that's family name.
I know, it's more like their grandmother's name or something. You asshole. John's next question, third question. Is it entirely possible that crowds will not return for the rest of the year? At least for WWE and AEW, New Japan is running shows with fans starting this Saturday, but they're at like 30 to 50% capacity at the most. Yeah, because Japan knows what they're fucking doing.
Yeah, this country sucks, so yeah, that's totally...
It's going to be a while.
It's going to be like until next year.
Yeah, I'm not anticipating anything until at least January, if not later.
This year is a piece of trash, and just throw it all away.
I need a mixer, and just to do the and like a mixer soundboard, and I need to be able to play the flush down the toilet sound.
Yes. Wait, how do you get those? Like a soundboard?
I don't know. It's a chick. It's a couple $100.
Oh my god, I'm gonna so buy you one.
I need one of those at some point.
I'm gonna get you one.
Of those. And I'll just press a button, and it goes, loser, 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 loser.
No.
Yeah, I just have all my famous quotes. RJ Marceau, Mr. Marceau, his first question.
Hi, RJ.
Jim Cornette stated that he doesn't care for women's wrestlers of Asian descent because they all look the same and don't have unique looks. Do you think they should branch away from the typical Joshi look to stand out more? Hi, Alexis.
Hi, RJ. Miss you,
First of all, I know this is coming from Cornette, but that is incredibly racist.
That is so racist.
That is so unbelievably racist that it's almost not even funny. It actually isn't funny, but could you imagine what they were thinking looking at the United States, though? Just the same. Oh, Joshi. Oh, okay. We say, or Jim Cornette saying that all the Japanese women's wrestlers look alike. Can I understand where he's coming from a little bit? First of all, it's racist. Second of all, that's actually not true. Because Kairi Sane, Asuka, Hikaru Shida, there's a lot of women that have their own separate identities. Io Shirai, I don't look at them and mix, that's Io Shirai on Raw. No, that's fucking Kairi Sane, you racist. I mean, they did make that mistake one time with the Twitter handles.
Is that Asuka's Twitter
yeah. But in all seriousness, though, just because they have similar, like, that's like saying, which is honestly, this might be more of an indictment on the United States than it is Japan. That's like saying, oh, all the blonde women's wrestlers are the same, which honestly, they kind of aren't. They kind of are in a way. Mm-hmm. Charlotte, Lacey, WWE has a type. Vince, specifically, has a type. Yeah. With the blonde bimbo wrestlers. I'm not saying they're all bimbos, but that's the look that he likes to go for, more specifically in the Ruthless Aggression era. Japan can say the same thing about us. That's like saying luchadors, Mexican wrestlers, shouldn't wrestle a certain way because they're all from Mexico and they all wear masks.
That's what the culture is, though.
That's just what it is.
That's like you're completely ignoring the culture of Japanese wrestling.
No, I will say, like the Joshi match they had at Double or Nothing last year, that was an issue because they did nothing to make me care about some of the women. But that's not an indictment on the Joshi women. That's an indictment on whatever company they're competing for, specifically AEW, which was that Double or Nothing, not giving me a reason to give a fuck about these women. Mm-hmm. Like that Emi Sakura girl. Oh, Freddie Mercury.
Well, yeah, her character stands out too, because
well, stands out, but I just didn't give it two shits about it because they did nothing.
But that being said,
I know what you're saying though. They did nothing to make me care about her. But that's not a Joshi. I understand where RJ's coming from and where Cornette, I guess, is coming from.
No, RJ. Okay, RJ. I have that opinion. Jim Cornette
I don't hope. I would hope not. But that's like saying, all. I'm not sure, but like I said, the luchadors.
All black female wrestlers
wrestle the same way.
They look.
Bianca Belair and there, and by that logic, is no different than Big Swole or something, which makes absolutely no sense.
Or like saying all male black tag teams have the same gimmick or something.
Exactly. It's fucking, that's racist. And it's also not true.
Yeah, it's not true at all. If you actually look, you're only looking at their initial looks just because you're focused on their race.
Io Shirai and Hikaru Shida, not that they don't have anything in common because they're both great women's wrestlers, but they're not like, oh, I'm not going to mistake them one for the other. Not even just by looking at it, but like their style too, the way that they wrestle, the way they dress, their characters, the way they talk.
Asuka,
completely different.
Asuka, totally different from
Io Shirai or Asuka or Kairi Sane, they're all different in different ways, as they should be. You know, as everyone should be. No one should be a clone copy of someone else.
I think it's because he's so focused on
appearance. You're saying?
I don't know. Like, he's so clueless about the other races that he's just like, oh yeah, they all look the same. Like, no, they don't actually. Like, if you were a decent person, you'd know that.
I completely agree.
Go to Dairy Queen.
Emmanuel A, real quickly. Since we're talking about Kane and COVID, did anyone else hear about Kane trying to vote against the mask wearing mandate in Tennessee?
Yes, I did.
That's so funny. I mean, first of all, it's stupid.
That's why our country's in jeopardy.
What's weird about that is that I guess Kane might be a Republican. I honestly don't know. He seems like a genuinely great guy that seems like it would be an awesome mayor, but that's just stupid. First of all, the guy wears a mask for a career. Second of all, why? I mean, if everyone else is voting against him, voting against not wearing a mask, but he's the only one for not wearing a mask, then there's clearly something wrong there.
I mean, the only thing I can maybe think of, but like I don't think that's where he was going, was that it's hot in Tennessee. I don't know.
That can't be, yeah.
And it's the summer, and I don't know.
That's just stupid. I'm sorry, Ken. I like you, buddy, but
the stupid mask thing is like I would much rather, like I said to you, I'd much rather go to Walmart for 45 minutes with the mask on, or be able to go anywhere with the mask on, and then stay at home and never wear the mask. I, for one, hate wearing it, and I've had to tell my one of my managers at work that I can't work longer shifts anymore because of the mask, because I get lightheaded. And it's fine. You deal with it your own way, but you can't put your thing on other people. You got to just deal with it yourself.
I agree. We move on to our next question here, also from RJ. Has Alexis seen Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero from Halloween Havoc 1997? If not, I'm sure you have seen it, and what are your thoughts? You've never seen the match. It's a WCW match. It's not WWE. It probably is, and I said this to RJ, I think it's got to be actually his greatest match of all time. Greatest Rey Mysterio match ever with Eddie Guerrero is when they were a part of the Cruiserweight division in WCW. We'll watch it at some point. Amazing match. I have seen it. I just kind of gave my thoughts. It's an amazing match. Probably Rey Mysterio's greatest match ever. And there's a couple other matches in that conversation, but WCW, Japan, Mexico, WWE, wherever he's been, Lucha Underground, that's the greatest match of his that I've seen. And people regard it as such, and it's not overrated. It's an amazing match. At Jeremy8911 from Twitter, thoughts on Cedric Alexander joining possibly MVP. What are your thoughts, Alexis? I like the idea a lot.
But how long is that going to last? Not that long.
I don't know how long it's going to last, but it's better than what they're doing now with him, which is nothing. I know he's in a team with Ricochet, but they're clearly not going to push him. At least not right now.
It's better than nothing at the same time, but
I don't know.
I'd rather see him in AEW with his wife.
I mean, it's better than being booked to look like a loser. So.
Oh yeah.
If he's going to stay, I want to see more people join the MVP Lashley faction. How good of a fit would he be? I don't know. Maybe he goes in there and he sticks like a sore thumb. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it's especially cool to see them all kind of like to see, because I know MVP's been seeking out like black men. I don't know why, but I mean, maybe that's on purpose. It probably is on purpose, right?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. Like I told you the other day, it might be a Nation of Domination thing. Granted, they did have white people in there. Owen Hart was in there for a time. It was he might have been the only white member. There might have been more, but it was largely Mark Henry, The Rock, Ron Simmons, The Godfather. The whole purpose of the group was for it to be like the D'Lo Brown. Yeah. They were all being. It was actually a gimmick that was ahead of its time, considering what's going on today.
But. I know. I was going to say it's kind of cool, especially for the whole Black Lives Matter thing that's going on right now. It's really nice to see them kind of.
They kind of were doing that in TNA too. Yeah, I agree. With Lashley and MVP, they were kind of doing the same gimmick in TNA with Kenny King. And the name of their group, they probably came up with a different name. They had the Beatdown Clan later on, like the Wu-Tang Clan, but it was called the Beatdown Clan. Originally, it was MVP, Lashley, and Kenny King. And they called it, I don't know if they ever officially called it this, but they wanted it to be called this, MVP M, Lashley L, Kenny King K, MLK.
Oh, that's cool.
So it actually was real. I don't know if that was intentional or like, I don't know. I thought that was really cool. And again, they weren't on TV saying, oh, black wrestlers like deserve more chances. They weren't saying that, but maybe that's what they were going for initially. I don't know, but it was a really cool stable. So to see that kind of replicated in WWE would be cool. I just think it's not just they have to be black to join the stable.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just that, but I just think he'd be a good fit. Honestly, if they found someone that wasn't black that wanted to join the stable, it depends on who it is. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. Cedric and I think Shelton Benjamin would be good, in my opinion, two good fits. Ricochet, if you want to have a tag team in there, Ricochet and Cedric. I don't know how they would do as heels, but it's worth a shot. In terms of like who else they could add in that isn't black, like they don't all have to be black wrestlers. I don't know. If someone pitched me a name and they said, "Oh, do you think they'd be good in the group?" Like for example, Rollins doesn't fit he has his own thing going on with the whole cult thing. It's completely different, I'd really have to think about it, but I do like the group. Alexander joining, I wouldn't mind it. What are your thoughts on Legado del Fantasma? I fucking love it. I think it's awesome. Star. El Estrella. That's star in Spanish. I love Santos Escobar. Estrella? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. I'm not cultured.
I remember that because of Dora.
Oh, God. Love it, and love it even some more. I love Escobar. I love the fact that Wild is there, Mendoza is there. Just the whole presentation, the theme song. The guy is great in the ring. Even better mic skills. Love it. Any other thoughts?
No, I agree. I love it. I love how he's Is he Latina?
Who, Escobar? Yeah, I think they all are. Yeah.
I love he's the Latina Godfather.
Yeah, I think it's a cool gimmick. I love the turn. I would have liked him even with the mask on. I liked him even then. But the reveal, it was awesome. The whole thing was cool. At E13, Emmanuel, shout out to you in the chat here. What does Alexis know about... Actually, you know what? We'll save that for last. We'll save that. I like your question a lot, so we'll save that for last. At Scarlet 1, best and worst of the Wednesday Night Wars at number 38. So from NXT and Fyter Fest last week. I wrote down the best of both shows. Really like Sasha and Io. Thought they had a great match. Mm-hmm. Timothy Thatcher and Oney Lorcan. Thought they had a really fun match in NXT. Mm-hmm. Fyter Fest. I love the Penelope Ford Cheetah match. That Ford looked really, really, really good in defeat. Thought she looked great. And the main event was good too. Adam Page and Omega and Kenny Omega versus Best Friends. I thought those matches were pretty good. Anything else that stood out to you that you can remember that you were like, oh wow, this is amazing? There really wasn't like much else. There wasn't anything bad. Which is why for the worst, I put in the more weaker things. The Rhea Ripley versus Aaliyah and Robert Stone. The match actually exceeded my expectations. I just don't give a fuck about Rhea Ripley feuding with those two losers.
I'm just mad that she wins against Charlotte and now her career just... She's lost so much momentum, it's not even funny. So, didn't really care too much for that. The Santana-Ortiz Private Party match. It's kind of a match. Wasn't really anything special. Wasn't bad. Just, I don't know. Having two teams fight for a title shot where they're not even one in the rankings makes no sense in the power rankings. And then easily the worst thing in the entire show for AEW, Cody and Hager bored me to fucking tears. I don't give a fuck about Jake Hager. The finish was all convoluted. Dustin Rhodes ran down for some reason. Then Jake Hager got suspended by beating up the referees. And then he thought that he won even though his music clearly was...
I know. What are you, fucking idiot? Are you deaf?
Does anyone else, comment if you agree, does anyone else think when Hager comes out, his music, first of all, this song sucks, but it's like, I gotta work. I gotta work. Sit in a circle and jerk. Sit in a circle and jerk. That's exactly what it sounds like. No one tell me otherwise.
No, I thought the same thing when I heard it the first time too.
we were both like, wait, do you
it's not a great theme
song.
Circle
and jerk? What?
If they didn't hear it before, they're definitely gonna hear it now. And thankfully Dynamite's tonight, so actually he won't be on the show, but
everyone go look up his music and that's all you can hear.
I fucking hate it. Real quickly, Elena said Kane identifies as a libertarian because he was not Republican. I knew that, I just forgot. And Emmanuel also added Owen Hart was the one white member of Nation of Domination. I remember it was meant to extend Owen's feud with Triple H at the time. And he was actually a great fit for the group. So it wasn't like, oh, they have a white dude who doesn't fit. Like, it doesn't have to be all black or all white. Like, if you have someone that fits, then by all means. Orton, Andrade, and Angel Garza, I think it's a little mini trio. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. Just because Orton's not Latino, like, I mean,
I know, it's just...
No, I know what you mean.
It just happen to be black, but it's also a really nice nod to, like, what's happening right now, so it's nice to see them kind of embracing each other.
I agree.
And, like, fighting together.
Final few questions. Scarlet ones, and then back to Emmanuel's. My laptop's dying anyway. I got to start charging this thing while we record. I think it's because I'm running this program. It's like killing my battery. But Scarlett's second question, what do you make of the hashtag speaking out movement? I've already given my thoughts on this a lot on the show and on here multiple times. So any quick thoughts on that? I know this is a couple weeks late.
Yeah. I'm really proud of all the women that have come forward, and men too. It's really hard to like speak out about something that makes you uncomfortable. So I think I'm really proud of them, and it's really hard to do. I'm just shocked at the people that have gotten fired, like Jack Gallagher. I loved him. Now I don't like him, obviously. Loved. I really, really like Jimmy Havoc, but I'm just really, obviously his career is just,
That's shit taste.
Yeah, I do have shit taste, Velveteen Dream.
As long as Johnny Gargano doesn't come out as abusing Candice, I think we're okay.
No, he reminds me of you. He would never.
Hopefully he doesn't then if he does.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, go on.
I don't know. It's really shocking. And it just goes to show, like, anybody can be an abuser. Anybody, woman or man, any kind of person. Doesn't matter if they're famous or not. And, like, the Justin Roberts thing, too, I feel like no one's talking about that.
Yeah, that kind of got brushed under the rug. I don't know. Even if it was, like, proven to be not true, I'd have to go back and read the DMs, because some people were saying, like, oh, he never asked for any nudes or anything. It's like, why was he talking to, like, a 13-year-old girl, though? It's a little weird.
I know, and those DMs seemed very real. So either...
Oh, no, they're definitely real DMs, but he never asked anything about anything It was definitely an odd conversation. It would make him look like a weirdo, but not a pedophile.
It was like...
Oh, yeah, I'd have to go back and read it. I don't remember, but...
It was just gross. It's like, men are disgusting. I'm sorry.
He never actually addressed it, I don't think. That was the weird thing. Like, you can't just ignore it and then just move on with something of that caliber.
I just think it goes to show you that a lot of men are shit. And a lot of women are shit, too, but...
More prevalent with the guys, especially when it comes to pro wrestling.
It is.
But yeah, the Matt Riddle thing is actually still ongoing. He posted a video about it today. And people were like, oh, I'm so proud of you for coming out about it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, there's no evidence, though. I mean, he could have very well done it. I don't think he did, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, my God, praise Matt Riddle for coming out.
Bottom line is just because we like him as a person.
Exactly.
He's cool doesn't mean we're automatically on his side. I mean, I really liked Jimmy Havoc. But now because things are coming out that he's kind of a piece of shit person, it's like, I'm not going to praise him and, like, I don't know him,
Yeah, I wasn't there.
My business to... The whole thing is, it's not even my business to defend these people and pick a side, really.
Yeah, we're not the judge and the jury. I have no idea what's going on. So.
Yeah, so it's not really...
Give my opinion on it, but that's about it.
Yeah, like, it's not really my opinion to be like, oh, well, this, and that. Like, no, I don't know these people. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter if I like them or not. It's not my story to tell,
I agree. But yeah, that thing is ongoing, so we'll see what happens there. He did admit to having an affair with his wife with this woman. But he's like, oh, I would never do that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's your word against her so far. I mean, she has evidence of that. Mm-hmm. And it's her story. I'm not going to say she's a liar because we still have no concrete evidence saying that she's lying. Like, if she texted him saying, like, oh, I'm going to, like, try to ruin your career by saying that you did this even though you didn't, that's a different story. But that hasn't happened. So
Another thing you have to think about is why would this person just randomly come out with this? But, I mean, there's just a lot to think about.
I don't know. He was saying that... Not that she's always said this, but she's been stalking him for a long time, and she wanted to take advantage of the speaking out movement. She didn't start it, obviously. She just kind of jumped in. The David Starr thing started it, but I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Clearly, WWE is, doing it. They're still going to push him anyway because he's still on the show.
The Jim Cornette thing, too, was really disgusting.
Yeah, that was disgusting. I don't know.
It scared me before.
I mean, he actually didn't deny a lot of that. A lot of that he said was true. Now, the younger people thing, I think he said wasn't true, and that nothing more came out on that. But like he did say that him and his wife had like a weird private life. So I don't want to know any more about that than I have to. Finally, back to the original Emmanuel question: what does Alexis know about Vince McMahon? How would you describe the man?
How would I describe Vince?
Yes. What do you know about Vince? So you're like, oh, he's an on-screen authority figure, like. He does his job well. You're like, this guy's a fucking out-of-touch 74-year-old man who's fucking weird and likes odd shit.
He's so weird. Like, I don't know. I would really want to meet him just to see how he is. But it's interesting seeing, like, this guy that you've heard such really good things about. Like, oh, he donated this much money to me, or he did this for me and my family, or he did this and that. And then you also have people that hate him and are like, he's an asshole, he did this, and he made me uncomfortable, and he wouldn't listen to anything I had to say, blah, blah, blah. So I'd really love to hear from him and ask him a few questions, or like have you interview him. It'd be really cool.
Oh yeah, you completely bullshit the entire thing, but still,
Maybe,
probably.
But if I had to describe him, he's out of touch. He's kind of like,
you know what's going on.
He's kind of like Walt Disney on steroids. That's how I would describe him. Walt Disney on steroids mixed with my grandmother.
So he's going to freeze himself and think that he's going to come back in 100 years?
No, he didn't freeze himself. The employees froze him.
Oh my God, it was his idea.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
I'm going to go to Titan Towers and just see Vince's like, it's going to be like Han Solo in episode 5.
Blink
Carbonite. Hey, the guy's never going to die, so.
No, he's not going to die. His mom's 100. So.
Exactly. Yeah, it runs in the family. That's it. That's all the questions. I thought we were going to go shorter, but I'm glad we actually did. We ran exactly an hour is what it's telling me right here on YouTube, which is cool. Shout out to everyone who joined us here in the chat that either was here or is here now. We're about to wind down. Elena the Y actually just said, confession, my father is a rape victim, and movements like speaking out hit super close to him. Very sorry to hear that. That's fucking terrible. God. Which goes to show this can happen to anyone. It's not just women. It can happen to guys. Absolutely. It can happen to literally anybody.
Absolutely. People
it's terrible.
Like, people do terrible things. And I was actually, I'm really into, like, true crime and stuff. Fun fact, I told this to Graham, like, 57 times yesterday. I share a birthday with Jeffrey Dahmer and Chris Benoit. So, naturally, I'm very much into true crime. But people are terrible. And it can come from anybody. It could come, like, you can murder me right now.
All right, let's not say that live on the air. Not exactly the note I wanted to end on our
anyway,
2-year anniversary.
But, you know, it's sad. Like, so I guess you just got to enjoy the time you have because you never know.
Yeah, no, you never know.
But
there's no one way to prevent it. I'm not going to say, oh, stay safe, because you never know. It could be someone you trust.
That's why the movement is so important.
Yeah, people got to speak out. And it shouldn't be afraid to speak out because this shit shouldn't be happening in the first place. So let's just all just be better people. All right, let's just, that's my end message for today's episode. Our 2-year anniversary, 7-year anniversary of the show, July 8th, very historical day, or historic evening in hashtag history. But nonetheless, though, I'm hoping to do more of these in the future. This is actually a lot easier because this way I can just do the video and have it be it. Because usually the video doesn't go up till 6, 7 because I record it. I have to process the video. I have to upload the video. Sometimes the Wi-Fi is shit. Sometimes it doesn't go up till fucking 10. If I do it live, it's a lot better. It's a lot easier because we could just record it, or I could just record it, and then it could just go up, and you guys can also join me in the chat, which I love as well. So Emmanuel said happy belated birthday as well, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So, this has been great. Glad we were able to get it in. We do got to get going, like, now. So have a great one, guys. Thank you, as always, for checking out the show. We appreciate it. Thank you to Alexis for joining me for episode 345 here today with the 7-year anniversary show.
Of course.
And if you want to send in a question to the show, you can tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. At WrestleRant is where you can find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. Drop a question on the post I usually put up on Tuesday nights, if not on the wall itself. And last, but certainly not least, drop your question down below in the comment section on this very video, and I'll include you in the next week's edition. Muhammad, you just showed up. FD, you just showed up here. We're about to take off. But thanks for coming in anyway, the last second. I probably should have put up a time for this thing, but I really had no idea. But yeah, that's about it. And also, too, real quick plug before we go off the air, check out right now, I got a notification while we're recording dailyddt.com, my exclusive interview with NXT's own Drake Maverick up right now.
Wow.
If you want to hear about the segment that never came to pass with the 24/7 championship, he talks about that. What his reaction was to getting fired a couple of months ago and then getting rehired. He talks about that. Also talks about the AOP pairing up, panning out the way that he thought it would. Check out that as well. DailyDDT.com right now. Awesome interview. Drake's a good dude. And have an awesome one, guys. Be sure to like the video. I appreciate that. Subscribe for more content. Wrestle Rant radio excerpts coming your way here tomorrow here on the channel. And enjoy Fyter Fest, Great American Bash tonight. I know we surely will. I'm Graham GSM Matthews for Alexis. We'll catch your ass down the road.